Could you tell me, or would you be willing to, or do you think it's relevant, some detail of your own conversion to Islam?
Well, I was in prison.
I know that fact, yes.
And
I understand it's in the interior feeling of
yes,
the process.
Yes, well, I was in prison and I was an atheist. I didn't believe in anything. And I had begun to read books and things. In fact, one of the persons who started me thinking seriously was an atheist. That another Negro inmate whom I heard in a discussion with white inmates and who was able to hold his own at all levels. And he impressed me with his knowledge, and I began to listen very carefully to some of the things he said. And it was he who switched my reading habits in a direction away from fiction to non-fiction, so that by the time one of my brothers told me about Islam, although I was an atheist, I was open-minded, and I began to read in that direction, in the direction of Islam, and everything that I read about it appealed to me. And one of the main things that I read about it that appealed to me was, in Islam, a man is regarded as a human being. He's not measured by the color of his skin. At this point, I hadn't yet gotten deep into the historic condition that Negroes in this country are confronted with. But at that point in my prison studies, I studied Islam as a religion, more so than as I later come to know it in its connection with the plight or problem of Negroes in this country.
This is getting ahead a little bit, but it seems to apply here. If Islam teaches the human worth of all men without reference to color, how does that fact relate to the message of black superiority and the doom of the white race?
Well, the white race is doomed not because it's white, but because of its deeds. And if people listen very closely to what the Muslims have always declared, they'll find that in every declaration there's the fact that the same as Moses told Pharaoh, you're doomed if you don't do so-and-so. Or as Daniel told, I think it was Belshazzar or Nebuchadnezzar, you are doomed if you don't do so-and-so. Now, always that if was there, which meant that the one who was doomed could avoid the doom if he would change his way of behaving. Well, it's the same here in America. When the Muslims deliver the indictment of the American system, it is not the white man per se that is being doomed.
It's not blood itself that's being, there's no blood damnation then.
No, but see, it's almost impossible to separate the actions, or it's almost impossible to separate the oppression and exploitation, criminal oppression and criminal exploitation of the American Negro from the color of the skin of the person who is the oppressor or the exploiter. So he thinks he's being condemned because of his color, but actually he's being condemned because of his deeds, his conscious behavior.
Let's go back to the matter of your conversion. Some details of that. Was it fast or slow? A simple matter as that?
It was fast.
Flash of intuition.
No, it was fast. Strange as it may seem, I took an about turn overnight.
Really overnight, just like
yes. And while I was in prison and wasn't a Muslim, I was indulging in all types of vice right within the prison. And I never was ostracized as much by the penal authorities while I was participating in all of the evils of the prison as they tried to ostracize me after I became a Muslim.
Why was that?
Well, the prison systems in this country actually are exploited, and they're not in any way rehabilitated. They're not designed to rehabilitate the inmate. Though the public propaganda is that this is their function. But most people who work in prison earn money through contraband. They earn extra money by selling contraband, dope, and things of that sort to the inmates, and so that really isn't exploited.
This was a matter of defending their commercial interests, their economic interests, and not a matter of fear of the Muslim movement. That is,
both. It's both. They have a fear of the Muslim movement and the Muslim religion because it has a tendency to make the people who accept it stick together. And I had one warden tell me since I've been out, and I visited an inmate in prison, right here in New York, Warden Fahey, up at Greenhaven. Fahey, F-A-Y. In 1959 or 8, along in there, I visited an inmate in prison, and he told me that he didn't want anybody in there trying to spread this religion. And I asked him at that time if it didn't make a better inmate out of the Negroes who accepted it, and he said yes. So I asked him then what was it about it that he considered to be so dangerous. And he pointed out that it was the cohesiveness that it produced among the inmates. They stuck together. What you did to one, you did to all. So they couldn't have that type of religion being taught in the prison.
It's just a matter of maintaining their own control then.
Yes.